Have you ever felt like your own thoughts were working against you? Like there's a constant battle between your aspirations and those little doubts that creep into Most of the time, those thoughts are like sneaky ninjas distorting reality and leaving us feeling down. But fear not, my fellow seekers of growth. Today, I'm breaking down cognitive distortions and learning how to conquer them. Welcome back to the Better Than Best Academy, where we help you discover your true identity and empower you to become a better husband, father, and leader. Today, I've got something powerful for you. It's about mastering your mindset, like we often talk about on this channel. And stick around, because by the end of this video, you're gonna have the one insight to start seeing lasting change in your life. Now, before we go much further, I want to pause and say I get it. You see me with my glasses on. You hear it in my voice that I'm a little congested. Your boy acquired pink eye and a tough virus this past week, but I definitely wanted to take the time to make this video because I really want to get this valuable insight and help to you. So bear with my voice and my glasses for a change, but I want you to picture you're on a walk in the park with your wife, or you're in the middle of a work presentation, or you're enjoying dinner with your kids when suddenly a negative thought creeps in. Maybe it's the thought of, I'm a horrible husband. Do my kids even know I care? Or I'll never succeed. Do these thoughts sound familiar? Well, that's a cognitive distortion. That's those negative thoughts. They're simply when our brains don't connect with reality. So once we understand how our minds work, we can start challenging those negative thoughts and rewrite our inner narrative. Today, we're going to cover the 5 most common cognitive distortions and have a practical way to overcome each one. So be sure to stick around to the end, because I think the 9th one is probably the toughest one. So first up, the first one is deletions. Our brains filter out unnecessary information to help us focus. But when we're anxious, this filtering becomes tunnel vision, making us focus on only the negative. Now, I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Listen to the sounds around you, the traffic, maybe the thunder in the distance for me right now when I'm in this moment, your heartbeat, the air entering your nose. Open your eyes and notice all the details in the room. See how much we naturally filter out? That's what our brain is doing to help us focus on things. But sometimes that focus can be hurtful, not helpful. Here's the practical step for how you can overcome this. When you notice yourself focusing on only the negative, I want you to take a moment and do a physical act for me. I want you to physically pick out that negative thought and throw it away. And then I want you to take the reinforcing positive thought and put it in. This physical act in NLP is called anchoring, and over time, your brain will rewire the way that it sees situations. And then the second cognitive distortion is mental filters. See, this happens when we take a bunch of experiences and funnel them into one negative conclusion, magnifying the bad and forgetting the good. But think about a recent disappointment. Did you let that one moment define your entire day or week even? It's time to challenge that narrative. So the practical step is to keep a gratitude journal. Write down positive experiences and revisit them when you feel overwhelmed by negative thought. Now, the third cognitive distortion is black or white thinking. This is when you see things to the big extremes. We see a lot of this on social media today. A lot of this polarizing thinking. You're either a success or a failure. There's no middle ground. This mindset ignores the complexity of most situations. You start a new diet and you have a piece of chocolate, and instead of thinking you've failed completely, recognize that one slip up doesn't ruin everything. So what's the practical step here? It's reminding yourself that progress is not all or nothing. That 1% better is still 1% better. You got to celebrate the small victories and learn from the setbacks and let the failures be lessons. And then we have the 4th cognitive distortion, which is generalizing. And this is when one bad experience makes us think everything is always going to be bad. If you got food poisoning at one restaurant, and you wrote off all restaurants because of that one experience. Don't allow one bad experience with one situation stop you from finding the true beauty in this life. Have you ever had a bad day and think, this has always happened to me? Stop. Remember, one bad moment doesn't define your whole life. One bad moment does not define your entire life. Reflect on how often things actually go right. So the practical step is by challenging generalizations, by asking yourself, is this really always true? Look at the evidence that contradicts your negative belief. And then the fifth cognitive distortion is jumping to conclusions. This is when we assume the worst without evidence. This can show up as mind reading or fortune telling. Ever think everyone's laughing at you because what you're wearing? Challenge that thought by asking for evidence. Most likely, it's all in your head. The practical step is when you catch yourself jumping to conclusions, ask, what evidence do I have for this thought? Consider an alternate explanation. Consider an alternate perspective. And then the sixth cognitive distortion is magnification or catastrophizing. It's blowing minor events out of proportion. It's making mountains out of molehills. We imagine disasters from the smallest of setbacks. Your spouse declines dinner with your parents. Before jumping to conclusion, consider simpler explanations. Maybe they had a valid reason. The practical step to overcoming this is practice mindfulness. Take deep breaths and ask yourself, what's the worst that could realistically happen? Focus on the present moment, not your future worries. And then the seventh cognitive distortion is personalization. This is when we believe everything others do is a direct reaction to us. We take things too personal. Maybe the meal is overcooked. Don't blame yourself entirely. There's many factors to play. And maybe your wife comes in and is upset because you didn't take out the trash. It's not an attack on you. It's an attack on her seeing the thing that she would like to get done. So you got to take away the reaction from the personalization aspect. So what's the practical step here? Remind yourself that not everything is about you. Consider other reasons for people's behaviors and situations, and that they might be having an equally, if not worse, bad day than you are. And then the eighth cognitive distortion is self-victimizations. Oh, this one's a tough one that I feel like is really plaguing a lot of society today. And it's immersing ourselves in self-pity. We feel helpless and stuck in a negative mindset. But you must remember, friend, emotions come from thoughts. Change your thoughts, and you change your feelings. And I'll take it a step further. When you change your physical state, you can change the way you feel and you can change the way you think. And the practical step here is shift your focus from problems to solutions. Identify one small action that you can take to improve that situation. And then the final, ninth cognitive distortion for today's video is the fallacy of fairness. It is believing life should be fair and getting upset when it's not. Life isn't always fair. Life isn't always beautiful, but it's a beautiful ride, as that country song had said. But truly, I tell you this, friend, that life is not going to be fair. That idea of fairness is a myth, so you must get over that. That good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people. It's just the way that this world, it's not God's fault, it's not your fault, and you must realize that life isn't always fair. When we feel this way, we must focus on gratitude and what we can control. Everyone faces struggles, but it's how we respond that defines us. So the practical step here is accept that life isn't always fair. Focus on what you can control. Practice gratitude for the positive parts and the good parts of this life. And in closing, mastering your mindset is really the key to seeing your full potential, to getting the most out of your life. Choosing positivity over negative is really the way to, it's the secret sauce to living your most fulfilling life on purpose. By recognizing and challenging cognitive distortions, you can break free from the chains of negativity. Now, if you're watching my content and you're thinking, Red, I really need some personalized, tailor-made help with this, then I have great news. For a limited time, I'm offering free 30-minute Zoom coaching sessions with me I want to help you uncover those distortions and rediscover your true purpose and calling, helping you see yourself the way that God sees you. All you have to do is go to the calendar below and directly book a call with me. As always, I'm praying for you. I love you, friend. Now let's go live better than best, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.